This is Burn the Ship. It's an entrepreneur podcast. We're out of Atlanta, Georgia. We've done over 300 podcasts with entrepreneurs in all across America. We're in Bama. We're in Alabama right now. We're at Creed 63, a pretty cool tech incubator co-working space. We have Jackie. I don't want to murder this last name. Fazekas.
Yes.
Got it.
Fazekas.
Fazekas. She's with Bama Health Foods. I'm saying that correct?
Yes, you are.
Great. Jackie, we would love to know more about your business, how you started it, some of the struggles you've had that you've overcame. Obviously, starting a business in any time ever is hard. In the last 3 years, it's been a little tougher. So we want to hear those stories. So how did you get into it?
Well, I moved down to Birmingham not expecting to be owning a health food store.
Okay.
But it was a health food store on the west side of town that had been there for about 50 years and was due to close in 4 weeks. Something was put on my heart to keep it going. And I've never run a little retail store operation, let alone a health food store.
Were you a customer?
No, I was not. I was guided there over about 2 weeks out of nowhere. And my background was in retail. And so... and I had some reference on the health side of things.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't completely a leap, but I certainly was not the entrepreneur. I was the one that grew up in corporate America.
Right. Okay.
So
What do y'all? So this is a retail location. Tell me what you sell there.
yeah, it's a natural health food store selling supplements, a broad spectrum of herbs, and healthier for you foods. We specialize in curated brands, both in the supplement and in the food side, to specifically cater to chronically ill issues and help people either avoid or improve their chronic illness like high blood pressure or diabetes. So everything is specifically curated. In fact, we serve our customers more like a wellness center with one-to-one personalized customer service.
Cool. What do you feel like is the element that you see more often than not that people come up there for healthy supplements that is a quick cure or a quick at least relief?
Well, everyone is usually coming in there for wanting to get off of the meds, basically, just because of the side effects. And so whether they're trying to get off meds or explore ways not to get on, it is usually tied primarily to diabetes and pain are the top two.
Sure.
And so I think a lot of people know turmeric, but we have a lot of different options that are blends and so forth. And we don't get into illness in one way. Like in food, we believe that your mind, body, and spirit share disease. And so when people come into us, it's not a quick fix. And so we, as wellness advocates, walk alongside them to encourage them on lifestyle changes in totality, both mind, body, and spirit, to help make the move and get them into a better wellness state.
Yeah, so I would say I'm new. I'm new to the health food store. We have one that takes merchant services through us, really close to our office, and I started going there because I had really bad, like my knuckles and arthritis was hurting, and I started taking a few things that they, of course, they're the experts, they gave me, and it really kind of went away. It took a minute. It wasn't like next day, but it took a couple of weeks. But they started feeling better. So there's a lot of elements that if you go to your local professional that it'll alleviate some pain. Tell me, when did you open it?
I took over, and there wasn't really much to take over, but I did take over the location December 2018.
Okay.
And so we never really closed the doors. We worked out of bins and bags, remodeling the space for about 4 months till we sort of had our community celebration.
And then a year and a half later, tell me about May of 2020.
Yeah, so I say that pre-2019 was we were barely up and rolling as a health food store. And then we had to pivot actually in March 2020. I say pivot, it probably is not the right word, it's a cool word, but really I had to come to terms with how are we going to sustain the community services of education and access to products in a way that was still very helpful. And so we shut the doors down and only allowed people 1 to 2 people at a time to meet us in the front of the store. Now, that was a little crazy because we had numbers of people in droves coming to us prior to that. And so from an entrepreneur perspective and from a normal perspective, you go, oh my God, you are nuts. You're going to lose everything.
It bottlenecks the sales a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. But it's only by, by the grace of God did the numbers actually went up. And so sometimes you've got to follow your gut.
Yeah, sure.
And really just knowing and believing with all intensity that that was the right move regardless, because I was driven to something bigger than me and not about the business when COVID hit. It was about helping be accessible and keep stability and the doors open for seniors, for instance, or other people that were really afraid. We were the place of hope and encouragement.
Sure. I mean, it was a pretty scary time because you didn't know. It was the unknown, right? And it was unknown healthy, but it was unknown business too. Like what's
absolutely
gonna happen. So there was a lot of unknowns that we didn't know, and we went into our office and started this podcast. That this whole thing was born because of COVID, because we couldn't go out and see people face to face and go into their office and tell them who we were. All the face to face networking had gone away. So, and that's how we got 95% of our business. So me and Bailey built a podcast room just like this in my office, and we were inviting business owners in or doing Zoom podcast, and we our numbers actually went up as well. But pivoting is important, and knowing. So a lot of people pivot before they should pivot too, though. So I think that the whole thing has made us stronger and closer as a group, and the people that did well, I think your employees probably still with you because of that time.
Yeah, a number are still with me, but I've had a journey with the store, 2020, and then 2021 when we thought we were coming out of it, we weren't coming out of it. As a retail store, being flexible and looking at your moves and turns of product to be able to move and address the needs of the consumer. When COVID would spike, we'd have to chase all of those products, and then they would die down, and we would back off of those. So that was 2021, and then when 2022 hit, we actually had a fire. We lost everything. And so we've been, when you think about what it takes to be an entrepreneur, whether we're talking about pivoting and things that we didn't even expect to happen, that would be another one that I didn't expect to happen.
No, double whammy.
Yeah, so every year it's been something to readjust. And
you are building back?
We are building back. We don't own the building, so we're just believing that we're getting in by the year end, and that'll be the new year. 2023, ideally, will be the next. It seems like every year we've got something going on. But we're believing that we'll be stronger than ever, knowing the different phases of readjustment of retail.
Yeah.
So,
tell me how the one of the retail and restaurants and pretty much really every business right now that has employees. How have you dealt with the employee side, because people are having a hard time hiring people and getting people to show up and this and that? How have you dealt with that? And how do you hire?
Yeah, we, before COVID, I would say, depending on the believers and not, I used to say, and I do say that God sends me people. That being said, I realized in the COVID period that I needed to re-engineer my hiring process and my disciplines, based on the people that I lost and that I wasn't recruiting. And so we have a 90-day training program to onboard people into this natural space.
Sure.
And we are down to our limited group because we've been operating out in a table and tent for the last 4 months.
Sure.
So we are interviewing. We're in the process of interviewing, and we'll be going through a fairly rigorous process. We also include volunteering in the process so that we understand the spirit of servants that are dedicated to community service, which is what we're built on. And so that's a pivotal part. We hire high schoolers, we hire college, we have interns. And so a lot of the younger generation are looking for opportunities to learn and grow. And so we love to provide an entrepreneurial retail outlet for people to learn and grow, not just in the health space, but in what it means to be a retailer in, an independent retailer.
Sure. Especially when you talked about volunteer and then young high school and college students, the experiences that are invaluable in your growth as a human being. So, I always tell people you really need to work retail in your life, and you really need to be a server or a bartender, because you deal with a lot of different people, a lot of different personalities. You need the negative too, because it builds you as a person, and you need to be able to know how to react to that negativity. And that is a taught thing. You don't learn
self-awareness.
That. Absolutely,
it's
but somebody goes, "Hey, this is how you handle that situation next time," because I've done it. It's not something that you're naturally good at handling negative. So I was taught that. You were taught that by somebody. So it's a good thing for young people to get exposed to that, so they can learn how to handle those situations better.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we're always going to have to deal with human beings. I hope so, right?
Right. Well, yeah, the art, the science. The art is the human piece of it, right? Yeah. And if we're all science, we really aren't making an impact. So, the art piece and having a protected place that we have at the store, a protected place of love and non-judgment, so that we can encourage people without judgment to move forward in their learning process and not to be judged or yelled at or whatever. So the culture aspect is so critical of anything that anyone is going to build as an entrepreneur. It's not, typically is born out of the heart and mind of why an entrepreneur started a business, right? But then keeping it front and center in your hiring process and in your performance reviews and your talk path with your clients and so forth. Culture is pivotal to constant success and impact in a community that you're serving.
How can our viewers help you? What is if you said, Jay, if I had this one thing we could build to this, what would that one thing be?
I am on a mission to build wellness advocates all over Alabama, if not all over the world. I'll be so bold. There's wellness champions that live and breathe in the wellness space, health and wellness space, whether you're an athlete, a physical trainer, or a cook. But it takes people championing wellness at all levels within their sphere of influence.
Sure.
To say things are positive, things are possible, and to believe and to shift the paradigm that it's not possible, that it costs too much, I don't have time, or I'm not worthy. So I want to change the narrative that everyone is worthy of good health.
Sure.
And that we can encourage one another in their space to walk through to better wellness in whichever avenue that they are a little off right now. That's so right. I would love everyone to just learn and grow to champion your own wealth, because you cannot be well and lead your business, your families, or community if you are not well yourself.
Sure.
So that's just the mission. Be well to lead well.
Sure. So how do I get a hold of you? Website, email address, phone number, whichever you want to give out. How do I get a hold of you? Because there's somebody out there who's I want to be a wellness coach. I want to do that, and then they're going to get a hold of you this way.
Yeah.
So that's our goal. Our goal is to bring value. And if I hear somebody that wants to get in that, I'm going to get them to talk to you.
Yeah.
So how do I get a hold of you?
Yeah. So we serve under-resourced communities and as a primary focus, and that's where we are planted. We're planted on the west side of Birmingham, 1923 Bessemer Road, Birmingham, Alabama. We can be reached by phone. Right now we're mobile and will probably remain mobile. So you can reach us at 205-540-5124. Or our regular phone that goes to our mobile at 205-923-0001. We're accessible with our website, which is Bama Health Foods, bamahealthfoods.com, and you will follow us on social, which is at Bama Health Foods. So everything revolves around Bama Health Foods, and our nonprofit is linked, and it's Bama Wellness Advocacy, which is built to build an army of wellness advocates
Cool.
to change and heal and create vibrant, healthy
Jackie,
communities.
thank you for coming in. It's been awesome.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. It's been wonderful meeting you. She was the first podcast of the day, so it was great. You did it, and you.
You get up and you feed your brain.
You're my spirit animal. I was like, this girl's an hour early. I love her. Because I'm like the OCD about being on time. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, you're definitely my spirit animal.
You wanna nourish lives in whichever way you can, and so if we can cause less stress on people,
that's it.
Then we're nourishing lives. That's our mission.
Regular life is stressful enough, right?
Right.
Adding stuff is hard. Yeah. Right. Well, thank you so much. This has been Burn the Ship. You guys, be kind to each other out there. We're good. Thank you. That was awesome.